Welcome to this live, very interesting and possibly controversial live I'm going to be having today. I'd like to hear your thoughts, and I also want to know if you've experienced some of the things. Today I'm going to be talking about the spirituality of sickness and disease. I want you to stay with me. I welcome you from Instagram. I welcome you from Facebook. I welcome you from YouTube. We're supposed to be live on TikTok, but not yet live on TikTok yet. So, today I'm talking about spirituality and sickness. Times we talk about sickness, um, scientifically. I always say that I'm a scientist. I believe in science. Science for me is very important. I believe in science. So I'm going to be reviewing some scientific reviews, and I'm going to also be reviewing some cultural reviews as well as from the Bible. I'm not able to review Quran because I don't know so much about it. But I'm sure that if you keep an open mind to this topic today, you will learn a lot of things. Now, and then I'm also going to talk about the real life experiences that I've had, and I'd like to know, where are you watching from? Can you tell me where you are watching from? Can you drop your comments in the comment section, and my team will be right online to drop to let me know. I also like the Facebook link to also be dropped on the group, so that those who are not able to check on Instagram or on YouTube can also check on Facebook. So from anywhere, and I would really want the TikTok to come up. So according to WHO, what is health? Health 1960, according to WHO, is a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So it means therefore that according to WHO understands that social impact can affect health, mental impact can affect health, not just physical. In fact, expanded definitions even include spiritual, if you look at the spectrum of health. So these are areas that we're going to be exploring, and these are areas that we're going to be looking at. So I'd like to know, where are you watching from? Please drop your comment where you're watching me from, and then I need to know. So now, according to the WHO definition, that already lets you to know that sickness is not just about your body. I've already said that. The mind, the spirit, your relationship with other people, is also being considered. Now, so let me look at the first point of spirituality. The first point of, so remember, our topic today is this, what is the spiritual aspect of diseases. So we have talked about the WHO definition. Now we look at the first point. What does, number one point is unforgiveness and bitterness. A lot of times people know that, yes, unforgiveness can have health consequences. Unforgiveness can have issues with their health and all that. But oftentimes they don't actually pay attention to other aspects of their health beyond the general talk. So we're going to look at each of the points spiritually, we're going to look at it culturally, we're going to look at it scientifically. So that means that if I pick a topic, if I pick a point, I'm going to talk about what does the Bible say. I'm going to talk about what does our culture in Africa, Nigeria, what does it say, and then we're going to also look at what has science been able to prove. Because the purpose of this talk is to show you that sometimes what you are drinking, herbs, you are taking pills, you are taking drugs, and all the things you are trying to take, that may not be the root cause. And as someone who treats people and treats problems from the root cause, I always want to know what can be the root cause of this complaint. So our first point is unforgiveness. So we look at First of all, from the Bible, what does the Bible say about forgiveness? In the book of Luke chapter 6 verse 37, it says, forgive and you'll be forgiven, right? Now, in Yoruba, I can not be able to, so some of these cultural things, I won't be able to quote them as they say, but I'm going to just interpret it. So a cultural proverb in Yoruba usually says that holding a grudge, or holding someone, that is, the person has done something to you. Now at this point I'm talking about you that has been offended, now you that have been hurt. Holding a grudge is like holding fire in your hand, right? It burns you but not the other person. So the same thing, what with unforgiveness, when you do not forgive someone, it's like you're holding this cultural proverb says that you are holding a fire in your hand, and as you're holding this fire in your hand, it's you that is going to burn. It's not burning the person that offended you or hurt you. It's going to burn them, but you are the ones that we're talking about the impact of these things on your health. Then let's look at scientific review. According to Worthington et al. In the Journal of Behavioral Medicine, this research was published in 2007, and it says that unforgiveness increases stress, it increases blood pressure, it reduces immunity. So according to this study, it shows to you that someone has hurt you, you are not able to forgive the person, and the person is having issues. Now these issues, you that you are not forgiving the person, you are having these issues. Now these issues that you are having, I put it to you that it can just a story that is not going down. By the time we found out what happened, that is not going down. By the time we found out what happened, there was this, this thing started after an issue she had with her sister, or her relative. Now having this issue has caused her blood pressure to go up. She's not aware that was it. She had this very serious family issue I'm not able to talk about here, but those issues have not yet been resolved. She's there, they are not talking to each other, and the thing is just eating her up. And she will say, oh, she has forgiven, but she has really not dealt with it. Oftentimes people think that ignoring or evading a conversation is the same thing that, oh, you have dealt with it. No, you have not dealt with it. You understand? So unforgiveness, so according to this study, is showing you that if there's someone has done something to you and you have not been able to either discuss it, and you have held on to it, and it's holding on to you, that these things, I tell you, the study says that this thing can cause your immune system to be reduced, it can cause your blood pressure to go up, it can cause you to have increased stress levels. Now the second point is anger. We're talking about the spirituality of disease. We're talking about diseases that transcend beyond pills, that transcends beyond that the cause, or that the treatment requires, the treatment requirement is beyond just taking drugs, it's beyond just taking pills, it's beyond just, you need to, now, because health is a state of complete, it's a complete state of physical, mental, social. So if there is a social disease or social illness, it affects your health and it will manifest as symptom. And if you don't address that, you may not get results from the treatments you want to get. So number 2 point is anger. Anger, according to the Bible, talks about, Bible will tell you, Ephesians chapter 4 verse 26 says, be angry. You can be angry. Someone can offend. Anger is a normal human emotion. It's a normal human emotion. But do not let the sun go down with your anger. That's what the Bible says. Today we are reviewing science we are using science to explain spirituality. For those of you joining us for the first time, we are using science to explain spirituality of a disease. That means that somebody has a spiritual disease, but there is a scientific backing. So don't assume that spiritual things, you know. So that's what I'm showing you. I'm going to be talking about from the Bible, or from spiritual. I'm going to talk about from the culture. I'm going to talk about from scientific evidence. Now, there's a cultural proverb that is spoken in Igbo, because I don't speak Igbo very well. It says that when anger enters the mind, wisdom jumps out. There's a way they say this adage in Igbo, that when you hear it, they say when you are very angry, you could just make decisions that you people have in anger, they have made a decision that landed them in jail. They have made proclamations that became a testament of, you know. But then I'm not even talking about those anger that is outburst. I'm talking about anger that is incubating inside, because the person is not even expressing themselves, you know. So I'm talking to you today about, so according to the Harvard School of Public Health in 2024, now they've reviewed scientifically the impact of anger on diseases, causing of diseases, multiplying the disease. So you have a family history of a condition that is silent, but because you are a very angry person, you are someone that when you now get angry, you don't let go of the anger, you hold on to, you have malice. This study is from this from the review, shows that one, if you have these characteristics, it will trigger you to have heart problem. You will be having ventricular problems. You will have you see, there are what we call, there will be query mark, question mark. You will not have other things that should be causing it, but you will be manifesting the end of the disease. So for instance, imagine someone who doesn't have hypertension but is having heart diseases. And science is saying that people who tend to hold on to malice, who can keep malice for 6 months, you know, someone that they will get angry, they are keeping malice for the next 1 year, they will not talk to you. Study shows that their pancreas, they will have diabetes. This is, go to the Harvard School of Public Health review 2014 and look at this review I'm talking to you about. The study also shows that people who tend to hold on to anger, to malice, who tend to hold on to this emotion, have higher chances of developing cancers. Emotions. So when you know, because when you go to somewhere, I've heard people say, oh, they went somewhere and somebody told them that this problem is spiritual. The first thing you want to be thinking about is witches and wizards. No, don't think of witches and wizards first. Think about the negative emotions that open doors to demonic manifestations in people's life. Think about those things. Think about how you used to keep malice for 10 years. How there's someone you have kept in your heart. You begin to have that part of the heart to be stabbing you, be having stabbing pain. Chest, something is stabbing you in the night. Tightness of the chest. It will be tight, my dear brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, I'm using scientific review to explain the spiritual implication of these things. You know, so it also shows that people who have malice tend to have digestive problems. The food will not digest properly. So this is some of it, you know. And you see people who have recurring stomach issues, gastritis, inflammation of the stomach. Science is saying stomach acid production. So when your body is supposed to produce, for instance, like 50 ml, because of these emotions, your body is producing like 500 ml. Your stomach acid is like 500 ml. It will be causing erosion. You'll be having issues. Then you will say you juke ulcer medicine. Ulcer medicine is not going. Ulcer medicine will not go. Will not remove it, because the malice, the anger, you have not dealt with it. So when they tell you that your problem is spiritual, it may not be that it is witches and wizards. It may be, it is, first check the spirituality of the emotions of these things. They open doors and they affect people's health, and they destroy people's health, and they make treatment not to work. And because why does treatment not work? Because oftentimes when the person is now not well, the person that they are having issues with is the same person that is caring for them. So the more they are seeing the person, the more the thing is boiling them. But you know, it's just a vicious cycle that doesn't end. Now let's go to number 3. Emotion. We're talking about spirituality of diseases, and these emotions that causes physical manifestation of sickness, that makes treatment, especially anybody that is dealing with a chronic problem that is not going, please check again. And when you say that you feel like you go to, because you do tests. I shared recently about someone who was living in France, who had spiritual issues. He had, we do tests. I'm not talking about people who are not doing tests. I'm talking about people who do tests, and the test will show that they are okay. They run all manner of tests, do MRI, do CT scan, do this, do biopsy, do test, go to one hospital, I've seen people who have gone, when they say hospital, when you say people are doing tests, when you say people are going to hospital, I'm not talking about someone who did not just go, who is feeling that it's not well and he went to lie down in church. That's not it. I'm talking about some people who are not well. They have done all the tests they are supposed to do. They have gone everywhere, and yet they are not getting well. They have done treatment, they've gone to this, they are not getting it. Please, when you hear that the problem is spiritual, I'm telling you today, I'm educating you today to say that it's not witches and wizards you should be looking at. You should be looking at these things. So we look at bitterness, chronic resentment, bitterness, an emotion where you resent someone, your presence. You can be smiling and smiling. Once they call the person's name like this, your countenance just changes. You just remember what they did to you. Now, it says in the book of Hebrews chapter 12 verse 15 that see to it that no root of bitterness springs up. This is God talking to you. I told you that I was not able, because I'm not a Muslim. I don't have knowledge of the Islam. I could have been able to go and extract from the Quran to bring, because I wanted also to have a rich discussion. I didn't want it to be like it's a one-sided discussion. But I believe that you're going to learn a lot from even the science and all of that. So the Bible says that, and causes trouble, that, it says, so see to it that no root of bitterness springs up within you, causing trouble, and by it many have become defiled. Some newer translation says that by it many people have become, ill in their body, sick, diseased in their body. This tells you that bitterness, resentment, causes sickness. Now, there's a proverb that says in the culture that bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the person to die. The person is not going to die. It's you that drank the poison, and it's like a cankerworm eating gradually. Now let's look at the study that was done by the Mayo Clinic in 2016, and it says that that chronic bitterness is linked to depression, post-traumatic stress diseases, arthritis, ulcers, immune weakness. So because those things that you have kept inside of your tissues, all those emotions you have kept, those things you have kept inside of your tissues, they are going to they cause the cells of the body to begin to have alteration. Do you understand? Now, there was someone that had issues towards someone in her husband's family, and they did something to her. She was just not happy with them and all of that, and as a result of that, she had been struggling with infertility. Did you know that when I had a session with her, and because she had done tests, everything is okay, when I mean okay, she's ovulating well, she's menstruating well, her husband, everything is fine, she's peaceful with her husband, but she was not, so I began to ask her about her relationships, about her growing up. She didn't have issues, but she said, well, compared to the family that she's coming from, she married into a family that meant she had these issues with this person. She just stopped, and I said, look, you need to deal with these issues. And she had to, really take some steps. In fact, in some of these cases, I have to call the families involved. I will have to call the person, was the patient who consulted, and try to do like a round table conversation, because I'm interested in the person getting well. And we need to resolve these silent issues. Do you know, I'm not telling you gist, I'm telling you the truth of of things that have happened, that I've seen. Just being able to deal with these things, within time she was able to get pregnant. Do you understand? So I like to know, where are you watching from? Please drop your comments in the section. If you are learning something on Facebook, on YouTube, on the different places, please drop your so let's go on. So number 4 point that has spiritual, scientific, and all you can count, that can affect your health, is cheating. Yes, cheating in your relationships. There's cheating that has to do with cheating, being fraud. We'll deal with that separately, but this is cheating. I'm going to look at the Bible, I'm going to look at culture, I'm going to look at science. Thank you very much, madam. Oh, watching from Maryland, thank you so much. Thank you. So cheating in relationship, the Bible says in the book of Hebrews 13 verse 4, marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed should be kept pure, for God will judge the adulterer. If the Bible says that God will judge the adulterer that is still perambulating everywhere, sometimes when people start manifesting certain diseases, they are not quick to link the things that they are doing, they are not quick to link it to the cause of the problem. They are first of all trying to look at what is happening outside. No, that's why we're having this life. This life is supposed to help you first look inward. You understand? Now, in the Yoruba, there's a Yoruba proverb that says that the one who eats in secret eats poison. I'm not able to say that. I'm not able to say it in Yoruba, but I can tell you. You understand? I can tell you. Thank you so much for telling me where you're joining from. On YouTube, I need to know where you're also joining from. On TikTok, I need to know where you're joining from. So it says that, so because you cannot commit adultery in the open, you have to hide. Adultery is sleeping with somebody that is not your husband, that is married. So it is done in secret. That action, I tell you, look at the scientific review. According to the American Psychological Association, a study was published in 2015. It says that infidelity is linked to high stress levels. It causes silent guilt. It causes insomnia. It causes disruption in mental acuity. It's linked to weakened immunity. So you see, the person that is indulging in this is having high cortisol levels being released. His blood pressure is not going down. He's not linking his adultery to his high blood pressure not going down. Then the second part of it says that people who engage in adultery, usually, that's according to the American Psychological Association. This was published in 2015. You can go check up this study. They said in the last part of it that people who engage in adultery usually trigger autoimmune disturbances. So remember when I told you about pain, when I told you about the body being triggered, when I talked to you about arthritis, these things that people do, did the man know that is waist pain that is paining you, that is not going, or the woman? In those days they will say, oh, maybe you went to take Magnum or you didn't take Magnum. No, those are not the points we're talking about. I'm not even talking about all of that. I'm talking about the impact. You see, the impact. Because there is a law of life. There is a law of life. And when you breach the law of life, you will have the consequences. It's this whole earth we are in. So you plant, whether you plant a grass in a compound or you do not plant, it grows. That means that there's no vacuum. And that means there's consequence for all of our action. And so I'm showing you today from science that adultery is linked to physical diseases. Science has shown it. Research is, these are published research that you can go verify. You see. Number 5 point I want to bring to you today. We're talking about the spirituality of diseases. We're talking about the things that people, you know, the other causes of diseases outside of bacteria, outside of viruses, outside of smoking, outside of drinking, outside of, you know, and then how people alter genetics, how people cause genetic malfunctioning in their body. You understand? So, number 5 point is dishonesty in business or fraud, business fraud. Now let's look at fraud. It's not only when the person run mad, in as you see in African Magic. And fraud is not just, you know, if you know what fraud is taking, you know, from people what they have earned. So look at from the Bible point of view. It says that in the book of Proverbs chapter 10 verse 2 says, ill-gotten treasures have no lasting value, but the righteous will be delivered. The righteousness delivers from death. There are several scriptures. Now, a West African proverb says that stolen bread tastes sweet. There's a way they say it in Hausa, there's a way they say it in Yoruba, there's a way they say it in Igbo. But because I'm not able to say it very well, I'll just say it in English. This same thing, it says that stolen bread tastes very sweet, but it turns to gravel in the mouth. My dear brothers and sisters, when the gravel is going to start, when the person is going to start tasting the gravel in their mouth, they may not know, they are not going to be looking at their actions that they are taking. The person who used in the office, you know, who was given a contract to do something that didn't do it, if he knows that this thing is not just say God punish someone, God is not punishing anybody. No. These things have, science is saying that, science is showing that people who engage in fraudulent businesses or that defraud people. So you buy, someone pays you money and you do not deliver the product, or you do what I order versus what I got. Science is saying to you, according to the study, the scientific study done in 2011 by Schultz et al., published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, it says that dishonesty in business, dishonesty generally, causes cognitive dissonance. It raises cortisol beyond the normal level. These high levels of cortisol causes impaired memory over a period of time, causes adrenal problems, causes sugar balance problem. So you see, it's not in heaven that people receive their consequences. Science is showing, and some of these researches have been done as far back as 10, 15, 20 years, and some 5 years, 6 years. So they are available. These are studies. If I came and I was just preaching, and so you say, oh no, the Bible says, I'm not even now only showing you Bible, I'm showing you science. Let's use science to discuss. And people have shown that, oh, they collected land, they collected money, they became sick, they did something, they became sick. You know, someone was sharing with me some time ago, and And that consequence I'm showing you has health implication. So it will not make treatment to work. It will not make you to be well. Now, number 6 point, deliberately inflicting pain on others. There's a scripture that I like so much in the Bible. It says, he that knoweth what to do and doeth it not, to him it is a sin. Now the Bible, and then there's this challenge that has been up, that they say, whoever dig this pit for me is go jump and pass. Do you know that line is actually in the Bible? It's in the book of Proverbs 26 or 27. It says, whosoever digs a pit will fall into it. If somebody rolls a stone, the stone will roll back onto them. So deliberately inflicting pain on others is different from unknowingly inflicting pain on others. Even if you did not know that you inflicted pain on others, and the person is telling you that you inflicted, you have to acknowledge, take responsibility, so that the spirituality of that emotion does not come and cause sickness for you. But we are not even talking about the one you did not know. The one that you deliberately are hurting your partner. You deliberately are hurting your spouse. You deliberately are doing things. You are inflicting pain, either emotional pain, physical pain, psychological pain, financial pain. Pain you are inflicting on others. You are rolling stone, no? You are rolling stone. That stone is going to roll back. It is, you see, remember that there is the law of life, and there are the principles of health. And all these things that people do can breach the principles of health. And when you breach the principle of health, you bear it. You bear it. So, there is an Igbo adage that says that he who throws a stone in the market does not know if it will hit his own mother's head. I'm not able to speak Igbo, but I'm sure people they can get what I'm saying. There's a scientific study on directly inflicting pain on others. Directly inflicting pain, deliberately inflicting pains on others. That study was done by Ritz et al. Clinical Psychological Review, published in 2009. And the study concluded that causing deliberate harm would create guilt, shame. It leads to depression, migraines, and chronic illnesses. Now, chronic illnesses are illnesses that have come from that have come and have refused to go. Anything more than a month, 2 months has become chronic. So, there are a lot of cases and stories that people have shared online and on different platforms, talking about different people that they know who have done them some form of harm and some of dangers and all that. I tell you, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear brethren watching me, my dear people, I tell you that these things have consequences, and it leads to chronic illnesses. So, inflicting pain on others deliberately, science is showing to you that these things can cause chronic illness. And when the cause of your problem or cause of somebody's problem is because they have inflicted pain on others, and they have not even gone to apologize to those people, they have not tried to make a restitution for those things they've done, do you think, what kind of medication do you think they will drink that will remove that effect? You see, what kind of treatment do you think they will take that will remove those effects? Now, point number 7, which is a very important point, because this has to do with how we even express ourselves every day in terms of our own body. Now, everything I've talked about has to do with what you've done with people, what others have done to you. This is now you and yourself, especially if you are dealing with a long-term health condition. Number 7 point is words, wrong words and their impact on the body. The Bible says that in the book of Proverbs 18 verse 21 that Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. If you love life, if you love life, you would get it. If you don't love life, you will not get it. So death and life are in the power. Then there's an adage. Also, there's an adage in Yoruba. They say Oroloba, that's words are kings. Words are kings. In Igbo, I can't even say it. They say Igbo people, if there's a word in Igbo that says that good words are life, bad words are death. Now, there's a study that was done in 2004 by Masaru Emoto. This study was done in Germany. This study on words has been done in Germany, in US. It has been done different places. Now, you yourself, you can do it. Me too, I've tried this study. Let me show you the scientific one before I tell you the local one that you can do. All right? Now, this study by Masaru Emoto in 2004 was done on water. And it said that water exposed to negative words formed distorted patterns, while positive words formed beautiful structures. Since the body is 70% made up of water, words deeply affect our cells. Words deeply affect our cells. Now, there is a study done by the Psychosomatic Institute, a research. It's posted in the Journal of Psychosomatic Research in 2017. Now, I've talked about psychosomatic diseases. Those are diseases that come from the mind, from the emotions, manifesting as physical, tangible diseases. One of them is called emotional heart disease, emotional heart failure. This is as a result of an heartbreak or heart problem. The person goes to heart has abnormal waves, abnormal patterns. The origin of the problem is not high cholesterol. No. The origin of the problem is not high blood pressure. No. The origin of the problem is emotions. Anything you spend so much of your energy, your mind, your attention is on, you have already started worshiping. And you better go and focus on how you were without pain. You better keep that vision of how you were. How was your body without this pain? How were you because you are forgotten. You are forgotten. And you are causing distortion in the cells of your body. You are causing distortion in the cells of your body. Oh, thank you so much. With my relationship, in fact, things were not going well with me emotionally. I was not in a good. It was orange tree, but people didn't go to school. They didn't know what that was called an orange tree. But the people believed so much in this orange tree that it didn't matter what it was. It didn't. Then when they now began to bring medications, now this is what I'm going to. When they began to bring medications to them, the people didn't believe the medication as much as they believed that tree. They believed that if they took this tree, you need to look at your life and take stock of your life and have gratitude. Gratitude, forgiveness. The scientific dimension shows from Stanford University. They did a Stanford forgiveness project, and they said that in that forgiveness training, for among the samples, the people who were there, it was said that, look, people who began to work with, depending on the magnitude of what they were dealing with, they began to experience significant reduction in their blood pressure. Some that had irritable bowel or digestive issues began to observe that their digestive system is better, began to improve. And then people who practice compassion, who practice honesty, began to, people who began to take other steps, shows that things needs to be done. Things needs to be done. What are the things that need to be done? Forgiveness, gratitude, acceptance, talking, opening up. Do you understand? Opening up. Open up to talk about the concerns that you have. Don't bottle emotions in. Don't say, I will not tell him. There is nobody that is actually a mind reader. And nobody has the ability to see your heart. So you need to learn to express yourself and express some of your displeasure. You need to. And then you need to begin to find a way to extricate yourself from those environments. You know. Now, the healing that you require may not be, the healing may not only be in a hospital. It may not be in a drug. It may not be in a herb. The healing you require, it starts with you having a meeting with yourself. You need to meet with yourself. Sit down with yourself and talk to yourself. And look inward. Especially if you feel like especially if you feel like, so I'm seeing you post messages, it's disrupting me. I'm seeing your messages on this phone. So if especially if you feel like you are by yourself, you know, you are not able to achieve the things that you want to achieve, then you want to find out. Have a talk with yourself. Have a talk with yourself. Really have a talk with yourself. You understand? And you don't know what to do, call to action, and you're asking yourself, you want to find out, who do you need to forgive? The person that stole your money, you need to forgive. You really need to forgive and really check, have I really forgiven? One of the ways to know if you are forgiving something, forgiveness does not mean that you forget, but forgiveness means that whenever you recall that thing to mind, it doesn't have any effect on you, and you have learned, you take a lesson from it. What bitterness do you need to release? What dishonest practices do you need to stop? What words do you need to change? You need to, for sure, you need to change how you talk about your body. You need to learn to talk to your body. Talk to your body what you want to see. You need to create a mental health image, especially if you have been dealing with a concern that has stayed for more than 1 year. You have actually forgotten how you used to be without pain. I'm telling you the truth. You have forgotten. You have lived with the consciousness of this pain for too long that you have not remembered how did you used to be when you did not have pain. You need to find out. And this is a call for you. If you live in Abuja, I will be in the Ask Dr. Rita Kidney Awareness Conference on the 12th, not on the 12th, on the 23rd of September from 12 noon to 2 p.m. It's a 2-hour session. In that session, I'm going to be talking about how to avoid the dialysis trap. I'm going to be talking about, so this conference is not just going to be talking, my health conferences, I don't talk about the things that you know that you do. I talk about the things that you do not know that you are doing that is causing you problem. Those are the things I'm talking about. So for you as a person, join us on the 23rd of September for the Ask Dr. Rita Kidney Awareness Conference. That conference is important. It's important because we need to together work together to protect our kidneys and also, you know, raise the awareness and raise the consciousness of people towards that, towards their kidney health. Now, for those people who are outside Abuja, we're going to be streaming live. But for you to be able to get a streaming link, you need to, because on that day we're not going to be streaming on Instagram or on Twitter or anywhere. We're only going to be streaming on our Facebook page so that we can manage our activities. So we will not be streaming on Facebook or Instagram. We will only be streaming on YouTube. Yes. For you to get the YouTube link, you need to register. Then, so the registration link, to get the registration link on any of the page that you are participating on right now, just call the number that is showing on the screen or just send a DM on any of the page, possibly the pages that you are watching from right now. you will find that the product, the not product, the the live link is going to be there, would already be projected. So if you are not in Abuja on the 23rd, then you need to watch online. But I'm telling you, when we went to Asaba, when we had it online last year, we did not, we was on radio. The things we were talking about were not the things we talked about when we were in Asaba. But from Asaba, we went to London. The things we talked about in London were not the things we talked about in Asaba. When we finished from Asaba, we had online this year. The things we talked about online, it's not the same thing we talked about in London, in Port Harcourt, in Asaba. Now we're going to be coming to Abuja. Abuja, we are having the Kidney Awareness Conference. It is always a 2 hours. The conference is never more than 2 hours. 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. It is worth taking a break from time to watch. It is worth bringing your teenagers to participate in, because we are looking at the children and the teenagers, the impact of the lifestyle on their kidneys. Because right now we have children having kidney problem. It's not a news anymore. 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years, 13, up until now. We are not even getting so much of 70 something people having kidney problem. People who are in the prime of their life having kidney problem. What is causing it? That's what we are looking at. And what do we need to do? You know, so it's not just that you don't take alcohol, you don't smoke, you don't drink. The people that I'm talking to are not people who take alcohol. The concern is people who don't take alcohol, people who don't smoke, people who don't drink, people who are not diabetic, people who are not hypertensive, are coming down with acute kidney failure or chronic kidney failure. What's happening? If they are not smoking, they are not drinking, they are not taking alcohol, why then are they having it? Where is the problem coming from? What is the lifestyle contributing to it? What are the things they are doing? You need to come and learn. It's a free to attend conference. It's because it's free doesn't make it cheap. Money has been paid for the hall. We're going to be moving from Abeokuta to Abuja. We're going to be streaming online. All those things cost money. But because that is my own give back to the society, we therefore encourage you to take advantage of this Kidney Awareness Conference and be live. And after the Kidney Awareness Conference, if you want to have a one-on-one consultation, which you should have a one-on-one consultation, then there will be a consultation right after the conference. You have an opportunity to interact with me, to talk to me and have me, you know, analyze and then assess you and tell you what to do. There are different packages available. And then one of the things that I encourage people, because I'm in Abuja, I would want to say, come for the physical consultation. But before the physical consultation, you need to schedule your own time. The whole time we are spending in Abuja, from 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, we are out of Abuja. So we are not spending at the time we had planned to be in Abuja. We are not going to spend up to that time anymore. The time is short. So we just want to take the people that we want to take, and then we need to come back because we need to prepare for other city that we need to go to. So we can't stay so long in Abuja as we initially planned. So book your own time, book your own slot. You can book for a 30-minute session. You can book for a 1-hour session. You can get the basic package, which is 35,000. That's you get 30 minutes online, 30 minutes physical, and then you get lifestyle. You get to look at your lifestyle. What do you need to do? What do you need to avoid? What do you need to eat? What are the things that you are doing? Then we have the 70,000 naira, which is a 1 hour. That you also get a food guide, you know, get it. And then we have the 150,000 package that has 1 hour session. That's total of 30 minutes assessment, 30 minutes physical session, 30 minutes lifestyle guide, 1 month treatment. Will give you herbs or based on your treatment, you know, that you require for 1 month. Then we have the 250,000 naira package, which has to do with all that, 30 minutes online, 1 hour physical, 30 minutes lifestyle, 2 months treatment, food guide meaning list of what to eat, list of what to avoid, and a food guide is given to you. So just getting products is fine, that can help you, but that food guide always goes a long way. And for us to give you a food guide, we must see your test results. I'm sure it has been a very inspiring and insightful session for you. Thank you to everybody. I mean, quite a number of people are on Instagram. Quite a number of people, and so many comments were dropped. Thank you for sharing your different points. Thank you for sharing your different points. And today we talked about today we talked about spirituality of diseases, and how diseases can cause how the impact of spiritual life, your spiritual activity, or the impact of spirituality of disease, or spiritual aspect of disease. Those are the things that. Thank you so much for the feedback. Yes, my teas are effective. Thank you so much for your review. I truly appreciate it. So today I've told you, in rounding off, I've told you about spiritual aspects and how your spirituality affects your health. And I talked to you about your words. I talked to you about if science, and I use science, so I reviewed scientific studies that were done, and I told you how science also showed that people who do fraud, what it does in their body, people who use the wrong words on their health, people who keep malice, anger, resentment, all these things. You can watch the video again. I'm grateful that we had this time. We had to have this time at this live at this time this week, but next week we'll revert back to our normal approach, which is on Sunday evenings, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. which I know is where most of people are online. But today, because I won't be available this week in the evening, was why we decided to do it. I not wanted to break the live. So I'm sure you have learned something. Watch this video, share this video. Thank you so much. I mean, on TikTok, it has gone off on TikTok, but on TikTok we had 5 comments. I was not even aware that there were 5 comments on TikTok, and people joined. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm seeing people from Jamaica, from US, from different countries joining. Thank you, and this is me signing out of this live session today. Have a beautiful weekend, and remember to stay well and be safe. Bye.